What's up, family? I'm the guy that showcases and promote African-American businesses operating here in the greater Phoenix area. Please help me further support these amazing entrepreneurs by not only supporting my YouTube channel or following me on Facebook, but also stop by their businesses and give them a little economic support. My name is Shaka Shabazz, and this is African-American-Made. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been a minute.
It really has.
It's taken a while to get together to do this.
I know. I think about like 6 months or something.
That means you're very busy and you're making it happen in the hair and fashion world.
I'm working, okay? I'm working.
Why don't you tell us your name and the name of your salon?
So my name is Annmarie Betances. I'm at Arizona Royalty Salon, and I've been a hairstylist for 15 years.
15 years. And where do you hail from?
I'm from Brooklyn. It's like, what's up? I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
A Brooklyn girl.
Was raised in Brooklyn, and then we moved to Arizona. And now I've been blessed in Arizona for about I'm gonna say 10, 12 years now. So.
Okay, great. So, what are some of the major differences, and I'm sure there are many, but give me a few of the major differences between living in a place like Brooklyn, New York, and here in Phoenix, Arizona?
I can say culture. I mean, it is out there, you test the limits. You're not afraid to test whatever limits are available to you. Here, I feel like I'll get shunned at. Like I can't dress a certain way. I can't act a certain way.
Yeah.
We're very structured here in a work environment structure, I feel like, whereas in New York, I felt like I could be more creative.
Yeah, so. Definitely a very creative place. In my short time there, very long ago, I had a blast there. Very beautiful people.
You got to go?
Yeah, I had a brother lived in Brooklyn at the time, and I spent about 6 months down there.
That's a long time.
Yeah, Brooklyn. Putnam and Thomas, baby.
Okay.
All right, I know what time it is. You know? Eating those delis, the bodega on the corner bodega.
You've been there. You had the corner. You had the bagel.
I actually lived off those because I had no money. So.
You had the bagel with the cream cheese or the bagel with the white cheese.
Yeah, and the little African restaurant on the corner.
Right there. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you've been a hairstylist in the fashion industry for about 15 years. How did you get started?
Well, actually, I started in high school. So I was, long story short is my mother came in for service, and when she came in for service, she was actually denied a service just because they felt like they didn't understand her texture. So I was just like, okay, Mom, I'm gonna go to school for you. Literally 2 weeks later, there was like a whole program for high schoolers to be involved in, and they were like, Annmarie, you should try to go to school, because I was always a fashionista girl in high school. Okay?
Of course.
I always came. So the problem was I would go to New York and come back with, in Arizona fashion, and they'd be like, "Where'd you get that outfit from?" So every year, first week of high school, y'all know I was fresh. Okay.
Okay. So you went back to the block to get your gear.
Right. I would go back to the block, get the gear, come back.
So let me ask you, did you go to Fulton Street?
I was this close. I was this close to being the model. I was this close, but I never got to. I'm not really a model. I'm behind the scenes type of girl. So, but basically, my mom got denied a service, and I said, "Mom, I'll go to school for you." So, literally 2 weeks, my principal actually recommended me, and he was like, "Go do hair while you're in college," and was speaking, prophetic word to me, and I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." So I ended up signing up. There was only 3 people from each school that could apply.
Okay.
So I was the first one to apply, and I got in, and I started when I was a junior in high school. So when I was a junior to my senior, I was in the salon working.
So in that journey and going to school for, to do hair, I know that you learned many different things while you're there, right? What attracted you the most of all the things, all the expertise? What attracted you the most?
For me, it was the fact that, number one, being Dominican in Arizona was really hard for me, because a lot of people didn't know what Dominican Republic was. So it was either I was Black, Mexican, or white. And so to be told, how I should do hair or where I should do hair at, or the type of hair it should do, really stemmed out on me. And I was just like, I'm gonna do everything. So when I went to school, I was blessed enough to be known as the only black girl in the school to do hair. So I was definitely messing up black women's hair. I was messing them up. I did a Jerry curl. Yeah. I did a Jerry curl. It was my first Jerry curl ever. And my teachers did not know what to do. And this woman comes in and wants a Jerry curl. And I feel so bad because I was trying to explain to her, I don't even know what it is.
Oh no, but
it was the worst. But she was so humble. She understood we was in a school. She understood that I was in a school that was not teaching Jerry curls, and it was mortifying. But it was also a time when I was like, okay, I can mess up, but I can learn better the next time.
Well, that would be the place to do it, right?
Yes.
You're like, I could do everything. Give me that Jerry curl packet.
They were like, you the black one, you know how to do hair. I'm like, I don't know how to do none of that, y'all. I don't know how to do none of that.
Yeah, it's I hear those stories a lot about in school, cosmetology school, where there's this divide about hair types and stuff like that, and who can do what or who even wants to do what, right? So out here in the field, I meet people that say, well, I can do everything, and personally, I think more black cosmetologists are equipped to do more than just black hair versus other groups. However, I did meet an awesome Russian barber.
Really?
It was tight. It was tight. Yeah, I was like, wow.
Okay.
But because some people say that hair is hair. How do you feel about that?
I agree with the statement. Hair is hair, depending on how much you're willing to trust yourself in doing it. I think anybody could braid. I think anybody can style. I think anybody could slay a quick weave, but it really depends on how much you want to take that knowledge of and really promote yourself or push yourself to do that hairstyle. I think hair is hair, and if we learn to understand that, not everybody is maybe a celebrity skilled hairstylist, you know what I'm saying? But as far as that you're at least trying, that shows that you have effort. That really does.
So Caucasian hair versus African American hair or black hair, obviously there is a difference in texture there, and that determines how you're going to approach doing a style on that hair, right?
Yes, and that's why consultations are key, because you need to know, because it could be a white girl that's mixed with black, there could be a black girl that's never been to a black stylist before, she's only been to a white stylist before. In New York, we're very, New York is such a place that it's not a black or white thing. And I feel like when I moved to Arizona, it became a black or white thing for me. And it really shunned out the fact that we're just hairstylists. And if you really want to, you can braid. And whether you're white, black, you can get your braids done. It may not last as long. The style may not work. Not everybody can achieve the hairstyle. I always say this, even Beyonce gets a consultation.
But let's be real though. Most white hairstylists don't want to do black hair.
They don't, but it's mostly.
And the reason I say it, position it that way, of course there is a white stylist out there that can do black hair. I'm not saying there isn't. But I think we kind of reverse it when we're talking about us as non-white people or black people when we're talking about hair. I hear most black hairstylists say, well, it's not about that. It's about, just like what you said, I'll do anybody's hair. I think we kind of internalize that statement because it's not black people that are afraid to do it. Historically, it's been non-black people who don't want to who don't think that we can do their hair, or they don't want to do black hair, or they think black hair is hard, or just the texture. But we kind of, when we go to these schools, we kind of learn to do everything, right? So we kind of come out of these schools knowing how to do all types of hair, whereas maybe our Caucasian counterpart, they only do white hair. And
they purposely market themselves like that. And you can see it in their Instagrams, you can see it on their website pages, whatever. They're really, I feel like it goes into like barbering. Barbering will do that too. Or colorists will do that, where you see a lot of the colorists will just go to Caucasian color, and it's like, but there's a black girl that wants to color. There's a black girl that probably got long hair like that, but they're not really. And it actually stems from school, because in Arizona, I actually was not taught black hair. I was blessed to have a black teacher.
And see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. By necessity, going to a cosmetology school, you have to learn what is taught to you.
Yes.
And you correct me if I'm wrong. The student clients, the student clients that come in to that you practice on, or that whose hair you do. I mean, you don't have a choice but to learn how to do their hair while you're there. Versus, there are no, well, I would say in this region, there aren't very many places you can go where it's just black people coming in to get their hair done.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
No, and it's true. Like, and that's why I love this salon, because this salon shows that there's a diversity here, but as well as there's stylists who are equipped to understand all textures, which is really rare. Like, you'll go into a black salon, but you'll see mostly black clients. And in beauty school, they're not bringing the black clients, because let's be honest, no black clients are going to be like, I wanted some student to test on me. Unless it's your cousin, your sister, your brother, you're going to get those.
Or if it's a school that's in a predominantly
black
mixed area. Right?
Yes. The fact that we live in Arizona, and it's Arizona versus Georgia.
Well, we're in single digits here in the population, so it makes sense in a place like this.
Yes.
Me coming from a predominantly black city, I've only seen black hairstylists for the most part, black barbers, and take your pick of where you want to go in the city, and they take hair very seriously there, right? So, and I'm sure in other parts of town or other areas of where I come from, white people just went to white hair. I've never gone to a beauty salon or a nail tech shop or a barber and seen a bunch of mixed people waiting to get their hair done.
Yes.
So that's kind of like how it is, So when you come out into the world, you're kind of like, okay, my man, you know what's up? But I've met some living out here, Hispanic barbers, they're tight. I've seen, white barbers that are tight. Not all of them, but to their credit, not all the black ones are either.
Listen, black people, we all got to do better, okay? Because they're beating us. They're learning from us. They're learning the YouTube.
I paid for some haircuts that I'm like, all right.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Enjoy that $20.
I think it also, like you said, though, you coming from a predominantly black industry or black city where you're going to see more people that are more skilled in that one, because they either have surrounded themselves around these barbers or hairstylists for years. Right? That's all they're used to. They're getting their hair done when they were young. Right. Whereas me, I didn't have that luxury. I didn't have that luxury at all. And talking about, like you saying, white people that don't want to do black hair, I experienced that firsthand. Like 15, I saw this woman, literally, I was like, can you style my mom's hair for this? My mom was going through a divorce and she was in her spirits, and me and my sister were trying to lift her up. And I think what I saw was not even them trying to say, hey, we're not skilled in this. It's more of a, we don't want to do it. Yeah. Like, we don't want to do it at all. We don't want to touch it. I was like, could you cut her hair? No. Could you relax her hair? No. I was like, so you guys made us wait 20 minutes looking up a hairstyle just to tell me, and then proceed.
That's humiliating.
It was super humiliating. And then proceed to tell me, like, the black stylist that can do your hair won't be in for 2 weeks. Like,
yeah, we'll take your money, but you have to wait. Yeah.
Right. Like, I've never heard of that. Like, coming from New York, where we're from, you walk into a salon now. New York is a little different. You got the Dominican salon. Yeah. You got the African salons. Yeah. Like,
I did see the African. I don't remember which street it was. It could have been Fulton Street.
Okay.
It could have been another street.
That's where I grew up.
I saw a row of African hair, shops. Yes. And I was like, wow, and they were all busy.
Yes.
All of them.
And they have 4 or 5 hairstylists surrounding you while they braid you up, and it is true. You out there in like 6 hours, but you're getting your hair braided.
Well, the thing about a place like New York versus a place like this is, there's just so much traffic everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. So, you tell me, you could just open up a place, and of course your skills come into factor
Yeah.
too. But I think that even makes you better though, because I've interviewed a couple hairstylists already, and their locations, I heard, well, I wanted to be in this location, but I couldn't because there was already a hair salon in this thing. And I'm like, what? I never heard of that before, because while you think that a person next door to you or other salons, similar businesses around you, that actually helps your business, I think, because that's where people are coming. That's the area people are coming to get their hair done.
Yeah.
So you got to be up on your game. If you're better than the rest of them, they're gonna come into your place.
I don't know if it's like a business plaza thing, but every plaza is like that. Like they do not, like you could have a barber and a hair salon, but you can't have two hair salons
that's
and
crazy to me.
two barbershops in the same area.
Yeah.
You can't even have a beauty supply store that close sometimes. But I think in Arizona, it's more of a, like you said, competition, and it's more of a, that plaza may not be getting enough. Like a lot of the times I see it, it's like a Mexican salon, right? And then you can't build a black salon, even though you're black and you're not doing the same thing that maybe a Mexican salon is. They're not accepting because they're like, well, you're attached to salon. Because I think it's how we categorize ourselves out here, because you have to say you're a salon of some sort.
Yeah.
And fun fact is that like braiders don't need a license to do hair out here.
Oh, you mean I can start anytime?
You can start anytime as long as you braid. You can. Now, do I recommend it? Personally, coming from a hair salon, no. I really think you should try to get your skills up.
Okay.
I really do believe
skills.
that we should try to be licensed or certified or something. But that's just my opinion, because it's more than just you braiding at that point, because now you're telling these people, hey, I can't wash your hair, because it's illegal to wash hair.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well now you got to find a whole salon that can do everything for you, washing and cutting and natural styling. And
So I can't wash your hair, right?
I can't wash my hair. I'm like, what? But I could braid your hair all night long. Like, listen, I don't know Arizona rules, but in New York, you do have to have a license to braid.
Yeah.
Like you have.
Oh, you do it to braid?
Yeah, you have to have a license to braid. You have to have a license to say you're a salon in any point, because they want their licensing. They want their, in DC, same thing. You have to have a certification at least in braiding. You can't just go out there into people's shop and do hair for them. And I personally agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Jerry curl person, I'm so sorry if you ever see this video. Like, I didn't know how to do a Jerry curl. Okay,
her skills are up now.
My skills are up. Okay, give me a little bit of love. That was 15 years ago. But
lady gonna walk in with a big old patch out her head.
She did. I'm telling you, the poor lady. She was like, you know what you do? I said, baby, I don't know what I'm doing. But I was like 15, and she was really understanding. But I mean, it doesn't work like that for everybody too. So you got to be careful.
Those Jerry curls back in the day were murder, man. They were murder.
Oh Lord!
And it left a lot of people bald.
I don't even know I don't know what y'all did still to this day. I don't understand the process.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, it was gone.
Thank you, whoever decided.
It wasn't cool at all. Like, man, come on, you're dripping, man. Come on, you're dripping all
that
over
and the
place.
pineapple. The pineapple, I don't know what that. Listen, there's some old school stylists. Y'all had it in the bag.
Yeah, definitely. So, what are some of your specialties that you do?
So I like to specialize myself as an all-around stylist, just because I am licensed cosmetologist. I do cuts, I do colors, and then I do extensions. And those extensions do range from like wigs, weaves, eye tips, anything that's an extension of your hair, crochet. I also am going to categorize myself now under putting that natural styling has become its own category.
Yes.
In the presence of styling. And so I do natural hair as well, where I'm two-stranding twists, I'm doing bantu knots, I'm retwisting locks, I'm inserting locks, I'm fixing locks, I'm doing lock maintenance. So I do a lot of, I want to say I'm a well-rounded stylist. And I love what I do. I love doing hair. Now if there's something I really can tell y'all that I'm not the best at, and that would have to actually be short pixie cuts. Pixie cuts are like the hardest things for me to do, but I do dabble in them a little bit. I do a finger wave.
For those of us who don't know what that is, explain what pixie cuts are.
Just like the short Halle Berry styles, the finger wave styling and all that stuff. Those styles that like 27 pieces, shortcuts and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, I'm just not the best in
You just
that.
put your boy up on game on that.
Yeah, you got a new term.
There you go.
That's why y'all gotta go to school, okay?
There you go. Learn the terminology, then learn the skill.
Terminology, okay?
All right. So, where do you see? I know the trend has been, you mentioned natural styles, and I'm hearing a lot of hairstylists say that they're doing more natural styles. Is that a trend you see that's happening right now, or or is it just it's the same as it's always been?
I think it's, and I'm gonna say it's real talk. I think it's just a way for us black people to say we do black natural hair. Like we are just like, I do black people hair, but it's all natural styles. Like it's just a form of us saying I don't need my license because I'm not doing haircuts and colors and stuff like that. And I think it's just a wave of people that now there's some fantastic people who can do locks and braids and phenomenal hairstylists that really are out there. But I just really think it's more of saying like we do black hair and we don't want to call it black hair anymore. We want to call it natural hair care or natural styling. Because to me, I feel like if it's coming from your scalp, it's natural. Like I didn't understand where the term came from.
I took that to mean that people were starting to get away from the weaves and the damage that perms and different things, relaxers did to the hair, and people were kind of more trending toward just natural hairstyles using natural ingredients.
Yes, but then you also have the stylists who, I mean, just like Jerry curl, just like how the Jerry curl was popping, all of a sudden it's not. Just like relaxers were popping, they're not really popping anymore. I feel like it's just a form of us saying that we don't want to put chemicals in our hair anymore, so we're going to someone who doesn't do chemicals. Okay. That's how I see it, because I feel like natural hair is, yes.
But would a person that does non-chemical treatment wouldn't be doing chemical treatment too? I mean, like yourself, right? I mean, you would be doing both.
Both.
You would offer both services.
I would do both. I offer both services. So for me, it's more of I'm taking care of your natural hair. I'm taking care of what's on your crown. I understand where the terminology comes from, natural hair care or natural hairstylist, and I feel like we're pushing more towards being natural hairstylists, just because we're not touching chemicals on our hair as much.
So you also do work with in the fashion world too, right? You do hair primarily. What is the experience like for you? How does one get into that world?
Fashion shows are fun. I will say it's a lot of fast paced. It's not your typical sitting in my chair for 20, 30, an hour, 2 hours. You definitely have to walk really, really fast, sometimes 10, 20 minutes at the most. You have about 30 models that you have to finish by like maybe 4 or 5 o'clock, and you get there like 10. So it's really fast paced.
So are the styles already predetermined, or are you just doing them on the fly?
Some are predetermined and some are improvised, just because Arizona, y'all stress me out. Y'all wear wigs. Y'all wear wigs and expect us to like come up with the most craziest styles with these wigs. And a lot of it, I've heard a lot. It's just they didn't know there was a black stylist that was gonna come and do their hair, or they're really like, what? Like you're a black stylist that knows how to do black hair, and it's just like, yes. So they'll wear wigs to protect themselves or braids prior. So a lot of the styles do come improvised because the girls will get their hair pre-done just because they have that fear, which makes sense. Not every fashion show is going to hire a black salon or a black hair team to take care of them. So I hear that a lot. So whenever my team comes down, we are really known for our creativity. So we do have a fashion board where it tells us ideal looks that we would like to do with some of the models, depending on what they have. And a lot of it is ponytails, a lot of it is braid styles, a lot of it is natural, I call it avant-garde hair. So where you're like really creative and you're creating headpieces and everything. Mm-hmm. So that's what we do. That's what I do.
That sparked another question. What's the process for a designer or a group that's putting on a fashion show? How do they come to you your salon or come to you as a hairstylist to solicit your work? I mean, what's that process like?
So a lot of it is word of mouth. A lot of it is years of knowledge. A lot of it is you show up, you volunteer a lot of your years. I had a great mentor. His name was Pierre Scott. He has passed away now. But he used to be someone that would be a lot of the hair shows and would win them. And so I was blessed enough to like learn some of his techniques and really just go crazy. Like we created a dollhouse on someone's head before. Like we did some crazy stuff.
Wow.
And so when you're around that, people remember you and they remember your work. And so over the years of 15 years, I've been in most of Arizona's top shows. I've even been to New York Fashion Week with Vogue.
You build a relationship with people in the industry, and that's just how you just get familiar with who's doing what in the city, and eventually people start coming to you and asking you to be a part of their show.
Yes, and it's really fun. It's fun.
Okay, I bet you meet some very interesting characters in the fashion shows, right? A lot of divas.
A lot of, the models out here are actually pretty good though, because they're all trying to build their own network too. They're all trying to go to like different cities and be booked for different states and stuff like that. So one thing I will say is that the models out here who are serious usually get pretty serious. Like they show up and they show out, and the designers who are out there too, they're really about their craft. A lot of them come from different states. And so they have a certain standard, and so you have to match it. And it's been a blessing. I've been doing, I think, fashion shows for about 10 years of my career.
Do you ever put on any fashion hair shows for yourself?
I did once, and it was actually really successful. It was the first time I ever brought out my business, which was called The Main Journey. And I was working 9 to 5, and I was overworking the 9 to 5, and I was like, I want to put on a hair show for myself. So I ended up putting out a cut party. I don't know if you know what a cut party is.
No, do enlighten me.
A cut party is where you go on stage and you're cutting on live stage for like 2 to 3 minutes, and you're showcasing your work.
Okay.
And you showcase your design. So I ended up bringing a celebrity barber out here actually, and he was a good friend of mine. He's from Florida. And it was so successful that one of his mentors was actually there too. And I honored my mentor, he was from Chicago. So he was Chicago
in the house.
Yeah, I had to bring Chicago. I had to showcase Chicago, what Chicago had taught me. So, but a cut party it's what I like to do. I like to host hair shows that are fun and interactive, and people are networking and people are meeting. I haven't done one since 2018, just because it's timely and it's costly.
I can imagine. And what size venue were you in when you did yours?
I did mine at actually a Black-owned art gallery in downtown Phoenix.
Oh wow! Mm-hmm. Sounds nice.
It was really nice actually, and it was they had opened up an art gallery for their son. And so it was dear to my heart because my show was about my son and the journey that I took being a single mother with him. And they were so welcoming, and the setup was so nice, and it was really cool to host it at a private event like that, private event space.
Well, I certainly look forward to seeing you do something like that again. So.
Yeah, I gotta find the perfect venue. Anybody who knows the perfect venue, holla at me.
All right. Now, in the hair salon industry out here on the streets, do you guys compare notes, partner up with each other, or do you know who's who out here, other areas in the salons? Do you have that community?
I do actually. I'm actually really connected with a lot of stylists out here. I'm the type of stylist that I don't mind referring out. So because of that, I get a lot of connections with those stylists. If I have a show, I invite them, and 9 times out of 10 they'll be there, just because of the community that I've I'm the type of stylist that I want to involve other stylists, and doesn't matter what salon you're in, and we're really big on that. And so I've been blessed to just people in Arizona kind of know who I am and the type of work I've done, and vice versa. They've invited me to some of their stuff. And another big reason why is because my mentor, Pierre Scott, would host back to school drives. And so we would host back to school drives and offer free haircuts and free styles. And so we would invite some of those stylists there too.
Wow, doing the work in the community. I love it.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself and your work in the next 3 to 5 years?
So in 3 years, I actually planned all this out. So
Okay,
good question.
Perfect question.
Hey,
You're
great
prepared.
question.
You're ready.
I was prepared for this question.
I'm waiting 15 years for this question.
I actually wanted to be an educator. I want to be an educator that travels to the United States and the world. I have my passport, so anybody trying to book me, I would love to be an educator. My social media is not all that great, but when I tell you, when I come and deliver, I deliver an event, okay? So the next thing I want to do is really get into movies. I want to end my career life if I can, with the blessing of doing just these movies and doing stuff like Avatar and Bridgerton, doing these type of shows where you have these avant-garde hairstyles and just really unique, different type of hairstyles. That's my dream. So.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Now, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at The Main Journey, TheMane Journey, JOURNEY, because it's not my journey, it's yours. And we're here to help you serve your journey. So.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So what would you like people to know about you as a person?
That I'm humble, that I'm blessed. I thank God for the skills that I've had since I was 15 years old. I'm about 30 years old now. So I have a plethora of knowledge due to all the events that I've been to. I've learned from some of the greatest, Kim Kimball. Who else have I learned from? Tippy Shorter. I've learned from Mazzani as an educator for 3 years. Sam Villa is another good one. So I'm really big on advanced education, and I really like helping people. So if you want to learn something, or maybe you want to try something now, or have some creativity thoughts, holla at me.
Definitely, definitely. Oh, and I didn't ask you, but I am curious to know, what are some of your favorite products that you like to use?
Oh, that's a lot. I like Talia Wash. That's one of my favorite natural products that I think is one of the best in the market. Professionally, I like using Bumble & Bumble, Mazzani. I like using Matrix as my color. It's a big one for me. And I like some of the products that are out there in this world. There's just so many now. but those are my top 4 right there.
Okay. So in your journey coming from Brooklyn, and making a life here, and being in the industry for 15 years, what are some of the, if there are any, what are some of the challenges that you think you may have faced that got you to the point you are right now?
I would definitely say choosing, being a single mother. Just being a single mother, trying to work for your kid. I've been a hairstylist practically my son's life. He grew up in the salon, and I really have just been trying my best to push past my limits. So I would take classes on his birthday. I would really sacrifice a lot of time with him just so that we could eat together. Because it's not easy. Every client I have, y'all feed me. Every client I service, it's because I love what I do, but it's the only way that I know how to make money. It's the only way I know how to survive in Arizona. And there's been days where that $150 sewing that I did just helped me feed my son, so yeah. It's not an easy game. It's a competition, of course. And now with social media, it's getting even crazier. You have to have a certain amount of followers and this to really just promote yourself. And that is so hard when I'm a word of mouth stylist. Like, I'm a referred stylist. A lot of people refer clients to me. So my social media may not be up to par, but it's what I've been doing for so long that I have that knowledge. And sacrificing, you know, a lot to push where I want to be has been the hardest thing I think I've ever had to do just in my journey, just doing these hair shows. Some of them were volunteer work, some of them were paid. Doing models at 5 a.m. because, you know, they have a fantastic photo shoot, or, you know, sacrificing sleep because, you know, you have to finish that hairstyle and be done, and it's 2 a.m. So,
Oh my goodness.
so yeah, it's been a journey, and still wake up for the next client next morning at 9 or 10 a.m. So for me, the journey has been truly a blessing. And I will say, for anyone who wants to be a hairstylist, that don't be afraid, you know, don't be afraid to test the limits. Don't be afraid to test your limits. And there will be a way that God provides for you. And if you just stay true to who you are, true to what you love, there won't be no issues. So you'll be in a successful business, always.
That's what's up. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been very fun. I
Yeah.
didn't realize it was going to be so much fun talking to you today. Thank you so much.
know.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course.
And again, one more time, where can we find you and where are you on social media? We're going to definitely get that social media.
Yes, we gonna bring the
be a follow.
followers up, okay, y'all?
Yeah.
I'm trying to be on Bridgerton. Y'all see some of my latest work. But yes, you'll find me at The Main Journey, THEMANE Journey, JOURNEY. You can also Google me. You can see some of my work, some publications. I've been published a couple of times, so you can see some of my work and see all I've done.
And are you on Facebook?
I am on Facebook, yes, and that's at The Main Journey too. So
Okay, great. Well, thank you again.
yeah, of course, I had fun.